Okay, next we're going to create a parcel, and this parcel is going to be the overarching parcel that we're going to use for this project, okay, and consist of this line. To make this easier for us, we're going to make a couple changes so that it will just be easier. Okay, so let's go ahead and fire up the layer properties. And what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down until we start seeing, and I can speed this up, I can see the V node. So let's scroll down there until you said V node. So get there, and you can expand. So we want to see this one here. So click here, and then hold Shift down and click at this node. Okay. And we are going to turn it off. We'll turn it back on again, but we're just getting it out of the way so it'll be a little clearer for to see. So I'm not deleting anything. All right, so this is the boundary line that we're going to use to create a parcel. And a parcel is it's telling the software that this is a piece of property, and we can set a lot of different items and things about it, but and we'll go through all that. But let's just see, this is this. And the other thing we're going to do to make our life easier is we're going to go down here in the drawing aids. Okay, we're going to make sure that we've got endpoint on, let's click off, and midpoint. So just these two, and we're going to activate that. Okay, all right, so now let's go ahead and create this from this boundary. Now let's look at it. So if I clicked on it, you'll notice it's comprised of both lines and arcs. So we got a line here. Okay, you can tell that by the fact that it's got that little grip in the center there. That looks like a little rectangle. We got an arc here, okay, and then we got a line and a line, and it looks like an arc, and then that looks to be a line as well, okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up here, okay, and we're going to click on this item here, and we're going to use the parcel creation tool, okay, and it'll pop up. We'll have a lot of these tools that we use, and so this is what we're going to do. We're going to create a parcel, okay, and these are the tools that we can use. And the first one we're going to do is kind of more of a manual entry where we define all the lines and arcs that make up this parcel. And important note, when you are defining it, okay, I click and I'm going to create something, I've got to always pick the beginning and end of it. I can't just, start continuously. In other words, I just can't create it by clicking endpoint, endpoint, endpoint all the way around. So you got to divide, you got to specify each segment of it separately, okay? So let's go ahead and click this, okay, and it's going to do our generic create parcel tool, and it's wanting to put it on the survey site. So we haven't talked about sites yet, but sites are kind of a way in which we can organize data, okay? So we like typically to create a separate site for survey data, and then I want to create a new site, and this site is going to be for my development, okay? So I'm going to create a new one, and I'm just going to call this one development, okay? Because this is going to be what we're putting in, okay? And we're going to apply and okay. And there's a couple different things you can do here. You can designate what kind of style it is. We're going to use property, but you can see there's options for single family, road, open space, those sort of thing. But we're going to use property. And it takes care of the layers for you. And then the label style, okay? So we can change this later, okay? But this is just the label of the parcel itself. And right now we'll just keep it as parcel name. Again, we can always come back and check this. I'm going to go ahead and designate this, okay? I like doing this. This will add the line segments already, okay? And you can see that here it's going to put the lines, and you have choices, but this is a pretty standard bearing and distance for a line segment. And the typical one is the delta over the length and radius that describes the radius there. And we're going to add those in there, okay? and we're going to hit OK. The next thing we go is we're basically going between these two choices here. Okay, so we've got line and we've got our arc. Okay, and we're going to use 3 points. Okay, instead of 2 points radius. All right, so the first one we're going to do is we're going to put in this segment here. Okay, again, we've got our O snaps on, and they are endpoint and midpoint because we need the midpoint for my arcs. And I'm going to choose line, and then just zoom in. Don't be afraid. We're going to zoom in. Click this one, and that one. And then we've got to then switch to the 3-point curve here because we're coming in here. I'm going to go click here, and the midpoint is here, and then my end is there, and then it goes to a line, so I switch back to line, and I got to start and end, and then start and don't be, and then back to my arc, start. This one's a little tricky because I got to figure out where this one is. That's the end, it looks like, so probably the midpoint is right there, and then endpoint, and then a line, and there, and then I'm done. So I can hit enter and enter again, or escape, and there it has created the parcel. And there it is. You got your parcel named here, parcel 1, and it's labeled. Okay, you got what we talked about previously. That's my distance, and that's the bearing of that line. Okay, and you can see different labeling, obviously, for the curve. And I regened it because it wasn't quite matching up. And it looks good. Yep. And you have created the parcel. Now, let's look at where this information is going to appear. So let's look at under our Prospector tab. And you'll notice, here's where the information is. Remember we put those points in? Well, there they are. There's all the points are here. Okay, and I can double click on them. I can go ahead and I can edit points, and it'll bring in a Pandora window, and that's all my points that we'd previously put in. You can see them all. And there is my sites. Remember those 2 sites here? Okay, that's where I have my data for my points. And then this one is the site that I just created called Developments. I can put the plus down, and you'll see the parcel resides right here, parcel 1. Okay, and that's where it was put under, that development. If it had been put in here, it would appear under parcels here. And we can switch those pretty easily. All right, another cool thing about using the Prospector thing is I can right click and I can do a couple things. I can then go to properties for it and pull up the properties of it. And in here I can see, I can change that object style we were talking about. I can change that. Remember that parcel name I was talking about? Well, I can make that name square foot and acre and hit apply. And there it is. Okay. Let's go to properties. I'll switch that back but that's where I can change it. Okay. You can also see the analysis here. It gives me a breakdown on all the segments and descriptions of them, which is kind of nice. It also gives me the perimeter and area for that parcel right in here. Okay. You can also right click and I can move it to a different site. Like if I wanted to put it on a different site, I can do that. I can copy it to a site as well. I can zoom to it. There, I can zoom to it. I can, and obviously it's a really big parcel, but if it was a very, very small parcel and you had 100 parcels under here and I wanted to find one, basically a needle in a haystack, very good way of doing that. I can also use this to select, and it's just select. So it's a nice little feature on there. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. Good idea to save that. And then now we're going to show you how to create parcels from objects. All right. Now we're going to unfreeze a couple layers. So let's pull up our layer manager. And we're looking for C prop lines. Okay, these should right here. Let me expand this out so I can see it. there are these ones here. Okay, CProp, expand this out a little, lots and right away. Okay, so let's undo those. It's all those. And then you'll see these are the object lines that we're going to use to create two separate lots. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up here under parcel again. Instead of parcel creation tool, okay, we're going to choose from object. Okay. And then it's saying, okay, when it's telling us, if you read down here, select lines or arcs to convert into parcels. So we're going to choose the blue first. And it really doesn't matter, but let's just keep with that. And the yellow. Okay. And then we're going to right click and hit enter. And we'll get that parcel table again. We want to make sure it's in development. All right. And you can review these things. We're going to do property. We can use parcel name. That's good. And we'll go ahead and we'll keep this one unchecked for now. This automatic add line segments. We want to keep that one off, and we'll keep that as well and hit OK. And there it is. It now has created the parcels. Now let's take a look at it. Let's see where these are now. So let's go back to my Prospector tab here, and you'll notice now under parcels, it's still working. We can click on this one here, but see how it took that big one and it subdivided it. So now that is parcel 1, but it has been subdivided because it's in the same site. Now, if it wasn't in the same site, it wouldn't have parceled. It wouldn't have subdivided like that. And then we've got parcel 2, which is the right of way, which will eventually turn the right of way, and then parcel 3, which is the rest of that area, is now part of that.